Hello, everybody. Hold on. Let me send out the invites. Got my tweet
Hello,
here.
everybody. Hold on. Let me send out the invite.
All right. Okay. So, what's going on, Roblox? Zoe? That's right. You're the Bills fan, if I'm not mistaken. I'll actually talk about your draft in a second, but let's get this out the way. Okay. So we get our beverage here. Let's talk about this for a hot second here. A lot of people they wanted the Browns to draft Saquon Barkley with the number one overall pick. Oh, that's right. You're the Raider friends. Okay. They wanted Saquon Barkley. Matter of fact, Roblox, here. I'm going to let me post a link here because when we'll talk about the Raiders and when we get to that, I'll welcome your opinion. So, and I see Lowcast has subscribed. That's good. It's a friend of mine from my other channels, my political channels. At any rate, okay. A lot of people, a lot of Browns fans wanted the Browns to draft Saquon Barkley, which would have been a mistake because they're under the impression that Tyrod Taylor is a franchise quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is good. I will give him that, but he is not a franchise quarterback. So we will let that pass. I'm not even going to get into that argument. Now, personally, I comprised a draft board of who I wanted the Browns to take. And they actually did pretty good because there were positions of weakness that the Browns needed to address right away, almost instantly. And they did that. They did that for the most part. The only thing they didn't do is get another free safety, from my understanding, because I didn't watch after the first round, I wasn't able to watch rounds 2 through 7 because I was at work. And then last night we went to the movies. We went to go see Infinity War. Go take the whole family. That is an awesome movie. That is an awesome movie. It is right up there with The Empire Strikes Back and Saving Private Ryan as far as how it will tug on your heartstrings. At any rate, so today I'm able to sit down after I got off work. I'm able to sit down and actually talk about these Browns, our favorite team here in Ohio and abroad, and see that the wonderful progress that was made by John Dorsey. Now, in the first round, of course, as we know, they took Baker Mayfield. My quarterbacks were, and this is not in order, but these were the quarterbacks that I would say would be okay for the Browns, minus now Josh Allen because of his history. Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, or Mason Rudolph. Any one of those quarterbacks would have been fine for Cleveland. But the first two that I would have wished that they would have taken was Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Having watched them play, I knew that Baker Mayfield was actually above Sam Darnold as far as ability and his desire to win. So Baker Mayfield, in all honesty, was number one in my book, in my head, but my heart was with Sam Darnold. So they wound up going with, of course, Baker Mayfield. I'm fine with that. A lot of people say that he's Johnny Manziel 2.0, except there's a big difference here. At number one, Baker Mayfield has earned everything he's gotten. He's been a walk on twice, and he wound up being a Heisman Trophy winner. They talk about his arrogance and his cockiness. Excuse me. You need that type of leadership here in Cleveland. You don't need a wishy washy, soft shoe, soft spoken, punctified quarterback. here in Cleveland. You need a quarterback that has no problem grabbing his crotch and telling the opposing team to suck it. You need a guy that will walk into, say, Ohio State, walk into their stadium and plant his team's flag at the 50-yard line, and then go out and beat the living crap out of them in front of a nationwide television audience. That's the quarterback that you need. Do you not get it? You need an a-hole at quarterback, because that type of personality, and do understand, he's not an a-hole just to be an a-hole, but he's an a-hole that says to the other team, I'm here to kick your tail and win these games. I don't care about what you call yourself trying to do to me defensively. It matters not. I'm going to find a way to win this game. That's the type of quarterback that you need. Now, he will not start this year. He will start next year. Tyrod Taylor, although he signed whatever contract he signed, he's really on a one-year deal until Baker Mayfield gets up to speed and is ready to go, which probably will be next year. Unless Tyrod Taylor and the whoever that they sign, okay, the teacher of Baker Mayfield, unless both of those guys get hurt, Baker Mayfield more than likely 9 times out of 10 will not see the field, particularly as a starter. Maybe in mop-up duty, but definitely not a starter. So you can forget that. So to me, because of his personality, he's not a walking drunk that beats on women and infects the team with his cancerous, poisonous behavior. All right. He comes with a winning attitude, a swagger. He is what I would deem to be a righteous a-hole. He brings that into your locker room, something that's been sorely missing in Cleveland. All right. So, hey, how y'all doing? I'm just now looking at Information Man and Roblox. All right. Yes, right. You need a good quarterback, and we finally have one. Of course, in the first round, they took number 4 overall. They took Denzel Ward. Personally, I was going for Mika Fitzpatrick because you needed a free safety, so that way, excuse me, you could bring Jabril Peppers up to the line of scrimmage. But of course, the Browns felt that their biggest problem was a cornerback, which it was. But I thought that they addressed that in free agency. All right, when they signed Carey off of the Raiders, okay, and a couple of other corners who were veterans, you would think that they filled that role, but you need a young shutdown corner. Denzel Ward was the best player in the secondary of Ohio State, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but ever since Urban Meyer got to Ohio State, the skill position players, the defensive linemen, offensive linemen, and linebackers, pretty much at every position, minus quarterback, you've had players getting drafted in the first round. Okay, sorry, I'm answering a guy on my on Facebook. So with Denzel Ward, you have a shutdown corner. People think that he was a reach. I don't think so. He was a surprise, but he was not a reach. People wanted Bradley Chubb. I'm like, why? You have Agba, you have Garrett. People don't believe in Agba, but I believe in Agba because last year in Greg Williams' system, Agba flourished. He flourished up until he broke his foot. That kid was a freaking terror out there. He was getting pressure on the quarterback. His weakness, which was can he stop the run, the running game, he was getting to it. That's why the Browns were 10th against the run until he got hurt. Once he got hurt, and of course, you know, Garrett was spot duty playing, boom. All right. Now they got rid of geez, what is his name? The guy in the middle, the nose tackle. My goodness, I can picture his face. But at any rate, They made a change on their defensive line as far as their defensive tackles. They're going to give Caleb Brantley and Larry Ogunjobi a shot at starting. All right, they're going to give them a shot because the Browns play a hybrid 4-3-4-2-5 defense because it's a passing league. So they're going to give the young guys, the young fresh guys, a chance to start. The problem is the depth. All right, they re-signed Jamie Meter to a 1-year deal. We'll see what happens with that. At any rate, we're talking about the draft. Now, at the start of the second round, their first pick was Austin Corbett, all right, who's listed as a guard, but really he played a lot of left tackle. He played a lot of left tackle in college. So, will he compete with Rob Johnson to be the left tackle? People forget that Rob Johnson was drafted last year, okay, but we didn't see him because he got hurt. But he should be healthy now going into mini camp, training camp, and the preseason. He should be healthy. So we'll see if he can compete there. Also, he'll be competing against Sean Coleman because he flamed out at right tackle. The Browns signed a guy from Pittsburgh, from the Steelers, that can play right tackle. He is slated to be the starter. So that right tackle position has been solidified. We don't have to worry about that. People are talking about the guard position. I'm sorry, the guard and center position are solid for the Browns. No, they are not. They are not looking to switch Bitonio to left tackle. That makes no sense. Keep him at guard. He is a Pro Bowl guard. Let him stay there. Your competition is at left tackle. We will see. Replacing Joe Thomas, that is hard. That's going to be a big uphill battle, but I think that the Browns have enough players there at that position where they can at least get a solid performance out of that. Now, with their third pick in the second round, they picked Nick Chubb. Now, Nick Chubb was on my list. At running back, I had Saquon Barkley. Okay. I had Sony Michel, Kerryon Johnson, Darius Geis, Ronald Jones, and Nick Chubb. I had Nick Chubb out of Georgia. The Browns picked him, so they got two of the picks that I wanted. They grabbed two of them. Now, Nick Chubb, a lot of people don't understand what Nick Chubb is. Nick Chubb, excuse me, he's a power back that can catch the football. When I graded running backs, I graded running backs that could catch the football. The beauty about a lot of the running backs outside of Saquon Barkley was that these guys, they move the pile. Do you understand what I mean by that? That when they ran into a pile of offensive and defensive linemen, they just churned their legs and got an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 yards. They helped the offensive linemen get that push, and they got those yards before they went down. All right. Nick Chubb is a power back. He is a power back. He runs with his pads low. He tries to run through you. You understand? Tackling him heads up is like trying to tackle a freaking car. I love that. And he can catch. So Nick Chubb, late November, December, January, you can give him the ball. He will churn out tough yards. It's cool. Third and 1, you're going to get that first down, barring an offensive line breakdown. You're going to get that first down. So I like the Nick Chubb pick. Now, their third pick in the second round was defensive end Chad Thomas. Now, he is a pass rusher. That's fine. Do understand that Carl Nassib filling in, all right, when he was filling in for Myles Garrett, he could not get any pressure on the quarterback. I don't even know who was backing up Emmanuel Ogbah. There was no pressure coming from Emmanuel Ogbah's backup. And there was very little pressure coming from Myles Garrett's backup, which of course was Carl Nassib. So you need a guy who can fill in. If one of those guys needs a break or a breather or they get hurt, you need a pass rusher that can at least get to the quarterback. So being the third pick In the second round, that's fine. Oh wait, he was no, I'm sorry. He was the first pick in the third round, or the third pick in the third round. I apologize. So at least you now have a pass rusher that can spell these guys and still get almost the same amount of production that those two can get. So that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I didn't have a defensive end on my board. At wide receiver, okay, in the fourth round, the fifth pick, they picked Antonio Callaway. Now, Callaway, despite his off the field troubles, he was a first round talent, but he fell. I mean, what you say, Roblox? Do you think the Browns will be a good this year? Honest opinion. I think they're good enough to go 7-9. So, as I was saying, Antonio Callaway, he was a first round talent, but he fell. He's lucky he even got drafted because of off the field issues. He had questions about sexual assault and arrest, violence, whatnot. He spent a year away from football as far as the college level goes, but the Browns took a chance on him. Now he was picked in the fourth round. He's cuttable. If he wants to act like an a-hole, he's cuttable. He's very cuttable. He's a fourth round pick. Fourth round picks normally don't pan out. All right. Normally after round three, you're picking for depth anyway. But he was a fourth round pick. Just like Caleb Brantley, you had some off the field troubles, but Caleb Brantley shined once the lights were cut on. Once he was in a Browns uniform, he shined. You didn't hear anything else about him that was negative. You just watched him make plays out there on the field. So hopefully Antonio Callaway can also do that for Cleveland. Now, I did have wide receivers on my board. I had Calvin Ridley. I had Cortland Sutton, Equinarius St. Brown, uh, Alden Tate, Christian Kirk, and Simi Cobbs Jr. And the Browns didn't grab any of them. It's fine. At least they addressed the position. All right. Welcome to the channel, King Zo. At least they addressed the position. I'm not upset with that because it needed to be addressed. Because Josh Gordon is one bad P test away from getting kicked out of the league, and Corey Coleman gets hurt tripping over a blade of grass. So you needed depth at that position, somebody that can step in and be a solid performer. All right. So it's fine. In the fifth round, the 13th pick, they grabbed middle linebacker Jernard Avery. He was not on my list. I had Roquan Smith, Darius Leonard, Oren Burks, and Arius Moore. Now, the reason I had these guys, because these guys, they made the most tackles behind the line of scrimmage and also had the most sacks because you needed linebackers, middle linebackers that could actually rush the passer and get deep into the offensive line and disrupt the play before it got started. Now, people kept saying to me, "Oh, what about Joe Schobert? Joe Schobert, he made the Pro Bowl." Excuse me, he was the fourth alternate. Only because one was playing in the Super Bowl, the other one just got finished playing in the AFC Championship game, and the third one was hurt. So he's like, "Ah, the hell with it. Who had the most tackles after them? Oh, Joe Schobert. Okay, go ahead." But do understand that a lot of Joe Schobert's tackles came past the line of scrimmage. Just like if those of you who remember Daquan Jackson. Daquan Jackson made a gazillion tackles for the Browns, 5 and 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. He was not an impact linebacker. Joe Schobert only had 4 stops behind the line. I think he had maybe 2 to 4 sacks with 1 pass interception and a couple of pass breakups. That is not impactful. That's average. He wasn't even slated to be the starter. Tank Carter was the starter at middle linebacker before he tore his knee up. So he's pretty much the backup. But you're raving about that. I'm sorry. You need more talent at middle linebacker. Maybe Jernard Avery is the answer. All right. So in the 6th round, their first round pick was in the 6th round. The top of the sixth, their first pick was Damian Ratley, wide receiver. Now, to me, that's fine. He's a wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Let's take a look at this guy. All right, so they're saying that Ratley caught 26 passes for 603 yards and 6 touchdowns in 12 games for the Aggies, highlighted by a 5-catch, 111-yard performance against Ole Miss. Okay, so NFL.com's draft profile says he's raw but adds, while he has bona fide field stretching speed, he also has the athletic ability and foot quickness to handle underneath routes as well. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. As far as I'm concerned, he's there for depth because you're going to need the depth for the simple reasons that I stated. All right, drugs and injury. So that's fine. And then, of course, the Browns' last pick, sixth round, 14th overall, was cornerback Simeon Thomas. All right. So, and he's a defensive back out of Lafayette. Where is he out of? He is out of Lafayette State. Okay. So, pretty much he's there for depth. He's there for depth. Okay. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. At any rate, so the Browns addressed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the positions, all right, that I had listed out of 6. They didn't address the free safety position, but let's see. I did have, believe it or not, I had Denzel Ward listed as one of the picks at cornerback. I got him right here, cornerback. I had him listed, so that's fine. Now, with that said, what we're looking at here, coming up next season, you're looking at least about a 7-9, 8-8 season, because the Browns lost a lot of games due to inept quarterback play, horrible kicking by a rookie kicker who should have been cut, and Cody Parkey should have still been on the Browns roster. Now he's kicking down in Miami. Okay, and bad coaching. Those 3 things. Oh, and also horrible secondary play, like they had last year and the year before that. So now that you've cured these things by hiring your hiring offensive coordinator, what is that guy's name? He came from the Steelers. Jeez, I can't believe I keep forgetting this guy's name. Hold on. Todd Haley, excuse me. By hiring Todd Haley as the Browns offensive coordinator, all right, you have at least solidified your offense. The running game will be a factor because now you have 3 running backs. The running game will be a factor. The play calling will be of a solid foundation because the Steelers, ever since they hired Todd Haley, have had at least the top 5 offense. They've been ranked in the top 5. Last year, they were ranked number 3 overall in offense. Okay, since Todd Haley got there. The Steelers stupidly let him go when they should have fired their defensive coordinator and kept him. But it's fine. He's there. At least he'll bring discipline to the offense. He'll bring balance to the offense. You won't get goofy plays where your left tackle is 10 yards off the ball lined up as a wide receiver, and then everybody comes in acting like, oh, we're tricking the defense, and the defense is just standing there like this. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? All right, so you don't have to worry about goofy plays like that. You don't have to worry about your quarterback with less than 15 seconds to go in the half trying to do a quarterback sneak from the damn 4-yard line or the 3-yard line. You don't have to worry about dumb stuff like that because you have solid veteran leadership at quarterback. Stuff like that won't happen. You won't get goofy plays. You won't get goofy play. You understand? You have a lot of solid veteran players on this team. You have enough presence. You have enough players. You have enough wherewithal. You have enough awareness. You have enough talent to at least win 7 to 9 games this year. I would say 8, but I'm aiming for 7. You have enough to do that on this roster now. All right. Let Greg Williams coach. Let Todd Haley do their thing. Let him do his thing. You should start winning some games. Next year, you start Baker Mayfield. I guarantee you, I would say by year 2, next year, not this season coming up, but the season after, you can see the Browns contending for a playoff spot. It's not like they were that far off. Those of you who are actual fans who watched the games like I did last year, you kept seeing the same mistakes over and over and over again. And you knew that the problem was lack of talent. You no longer have that problem. Lack of talent and bad coaching. You won't have that problem this year. It can only get better next year when the talent has developed and have grown. And you'll have a lot of money to spend on the cap. So, with that said, people need to calm down. Let's get these guys out in mini camp. Let's get them in training camp. Let's see what they can do in preseason, and we'll let it fall from there. I have no problems with what Dorsey did. Amish Dan said 2-14, maybe 3-13 at best. Uh, well, you know what? Let's take a look at the schedule then. All right, let's take a look at the schedule. And let's call it. We're going to call it. All right, so it's preseason. Okay, so in the regular season, okay, the first game you have is Steelers at Browns. Now, last year, with virtually no talent in the secondary and a horrible quarterback, the Browns lost 21-18. All right, the Steelers going up against their former offensive coordinator. You think he doesn't know their tendencies? You think he's not going to share any tidbits with Todd Haley? I mean, with I'm sorry, you don't think Todd Haley's going to share any tidbits with Greg Williams? Of course he is. So I'm not even going to worry about that game, but that's going to be a good game. Browns at Saints. The Saints are a running team. Drew Brees is getting old. The Browns can stop the run. That's a 50-50 game, just like the Browns, Steelers and Browns. That's a 50-50 game. Jets at Browns. That too is a 50-50 game. The only difference is that the Jets still have a defense. You have to worry about their defense. Their offense is iffy, but their defense is solid. That's a 50-50 game. Browns at Raiders. The Raiders, if they don't rebound from what they looked like last year, that's a 50-50 game. Do understand there's a reason why it's called Any Given Sunday. All right. Ravens at Browns. The Ravens offense is a mess. I think the Browns can win that game simply based on defense alone. Because the Ravens, their wide receiving core is just garbage. Chargers at Browns. We've watched the Browns. Their one win came against the Chargers. Last year, it was a shootout against the Chargers. They lost that. I think this year with solid coaching, Browns can probably beat the Chargers at home. All right. Browns at Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are poorly coached. I give that to the Browns all day, every day. Okay, again, Browns at Steelers. That's a 50-50 game. I'm going to chalk it up as one, a 50-50 game. All right. Chiefs at Browns. I would say the Chiefs, they're starting Pat Mahomes for the first time this year. Uh, that's sort of a revenge game for Dorsey. And they're playing in Cleveland. I would give the edge to Cleveland. Falcons at Browns. I give it to the Falcons. Browns at Bengals. The Bengals are a mess. I give it to Cleveland. Browns at Texans. I see the Texans winning that. Panthers at Browns. That's Cam Newton. I give it to Cam Newton. Browns at Broncos. Browns. Browns at Broncos. I get it to the Browns. Bengals at Browns. I get it to the Browns. And Browns at Ravens. I give that to the Browns. So, but you never know. So, 3-13 at best. Nah, I don't see that. All right. So, unless you guys have questions and I have answers, I'm going to cut it off. Unless you want to talk about other teams, I don't have a problem with that. But overall, I'm pretty much happy, or shall I say, satisfied with what they did in the draft. They addressed some need positions, which is excellent because you needed to address some need positions. And now it's just a matter of seeing what these guys can do. You know what your free agents can do. It's just a matter of will they come in here hungry? Will they take to the coaching? We will see. All right, guys. Let me get out of here. I really need to redo my Avengers video and talk about the Bill Cosby stuff. All right, so I will see you guys later. I'll talk to you not after mini camp. And if you noticed, I've been playing the video games on my channel, on this channel specifically, because there's really nothing to talk about. And I at least like to have some form of entertainment on here. So I probably won't talk to you guys until training camp begins, and we'll go from there. Or if not training camp, then preseason, depending on if they make any moves or not. So talk to you later. Peace out.